Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. This is the Kurt one. As you can see, it's pretty cold, a little bit gusty here. We're in autumn in Canada now. This is the best season for us to shoot woodland photo to capture those fall colors. Maybe in your place, it's also in autumn. Maybe you want to shoot lots of autumn photos. So today I'm gonna share my settings and tips how to shoot woodland photo with fall colors, and also give you example of a editing to show you how to boost up the color in your autumn photos. Without any further ado, let's get started. Hi, this is Kurt Wang, a landscape photographer based in Toronto, Canada. Welcome to my channel. Here, I will tell you my photography stories, share my knowledge and skills, and make photography friends. My first tip is to change the white balance. So usually we use auto white balance. It looks pretty cold and green. So in order to boost up the color, usually I choose cloudy or even shade to boost up the color. So this is, for example, let's take a photo of this one. So this is auto white balance, pretty cold and green. So if I change this to cloudy, you see the color change, a little bit yellow. Let's take a look. More orange inside the photo now, right? And then if I change this to shade, you see more color boost up. There you go. So make sure you change your white balance to have more color in your frame. First, let's talk about shutter speed. For shutter speed, when you're shooting woodland, usually it's hard to get very calm condition, like leaves, trees, they're usually always moving. It's hard to see them still for like a minute or two. It will be hard. So you can't do very long shutter speed. Sometimes even in the woodlands, it could be gusty. The leaves are moving fast. When you go back home, open them up in your computer, you may notice the leaves are blurred or they're moving, right? So usually for woodland photo, for shutter speed, I would try to maintain 1/82 or 1/100. For the aperture, I will use f4 or f5.6. I wouldn't go crazy to like f16 or f13, f11 because I need to maintain a faster shutter speed. Same thing for ISO. You may need to boost up a little bit in order to get that shutter speed. Don't be afraid to boost up your ISO. It's not, we're not shooting like at night. You're gonna get lots of noise like ISO 3200, 6400. So you really try to maintain ISO between ISO 200 to ISO 400. I wouldn't go too crazy to ISO 1000. That would be too much. So that's basically my setting. The key is you need to get a little bit faster shutter speed. Your aperture and ISO should be working around that shutter speed. As to the composition, there are thousands of possibilities. You can be very creative. So here I'm gonna share some of the typical composition I usually use. The first one is very common, is the leading line. You can find a trail or small road that leads audience attention, go all the way to the background, either colors or woodland. For example, so I use a trail as the leading line, just to focus at the end of the trail. So the other composition I want to talk about is to have the human factor in your frame. So you may have yourself as model, or if you see people hiking in the trail, you can have them in the frame to add the scale and add more interesting point to your composition. Another composition I would like to recommend is to find some tunnels in the woodline. When I say tunnels, I mean when the tree branches, they're making an arch shape and make almost a hole at the end of the background, create a tunnel shape, just like this. So it'll help people to narrow their attention to the end of the tunnel to give you a great composition. For example, so I'm gonna use a leading line with a tunnel at the end and just focus at the end of the tunnel. That's it. Another composition I would like to suggest is to go low. So sometimes if you have very good foreground, you can go much lower, like use low angle to capture more foreground. You can exaggerate in the size and the area in front of you. So if I go a little bit lower, the perspective have changed. If I go even lower, as you can see, the foreground become more, and then also I can avoid to have too much sky in frame because the sky is a little bit overexposed. So I can focus more on the foreground and just a little bit of the background. Sometimes you can combine multiple composition methods into one frame. For example, here, I can see there's a beautiful leading line by using the fence on the left side. And also there are some leaves at the foreground. So I can get closer to the leaf, go low to exaggerating the size of the foreground. And also at the end of the fence, it's like a tunnel, right? You can also even capture human factor if you want. There you go, this is the final result. I will also be using this photo as an example to show you how to edit autumn photo at the end of the video. All right, I finished shooting. Now I'm gonna use one of the image as an example to show you how to edit 4 photos. Let's get started. I'm gonna be using this photo as an example to show you how I edit my autumn photos. This is the photo I took during the autumn hiking trip, as I show you at the beginning of the video. Let's get started. First, I will choose a profile. For my landscape photo, usually I use Adobe Landscape, but you can be flexible and creative. Don't have to always choose landscape. You can choose other profile too, as long as it fits your style and the purpose. To do quick editing, I usually use the auto setting given by Adobe Lightroom. This is not the final result. This is actually a starting point. I just use the auto editing just to see if work for me. Maybe some of the parts already fit my style. I don't need to make change. But this is not the final. There's still, I just use this as a starting point. So now pay attention to this. After I hit auto, I will drag all the way down to the bottom. Go to the calibration area. Here I'll show you the biggest trick about editing autumn photo, how to boost up the color. So first go to the blue primary, drag the bar of the hue to the left. You see the change? Yeah. It adds lots of red, orange, and yellow warm color into the frame. I wouldn't go too much. I will stay here. And you can also boost up the saturation too. Just a little bit. And also under the red primary, you can add a little bit more hue. Just a little bit. Saturation is up to you. You can do a little bit more so the red color will pop up. But usually go with the blue primary first and then add the red. That's the big change. Take a look. This is the raw file. This is after we change the calibration. All right, let's get back to the top. And the exposure is okay for me. Contrast is okay. I want a little bit of contrast here. Highlighter, I want to go lower a little bit because there's some of the sky here. I don't want the sky to capture too much attention. And shadow will lift up a little bit so I can see more details. White and black for this photo is okay. Texture, I would like to add a little bit. So you can see there's lots of leaves and branches. I usually add a little bit of texture, but I won't go too much, usually between 0 and 10. Clarity is up to you. If you want a very dreamy, right, you can move the bar to the left, make it very dreamy. Otherwise, I usually leave in the middle. For the dehaze, it's also personal taste, but don't go too far away from 0. In this photo, I would like to add a little bit of haze, just a little bit, so it can lift up some of the shadow. All right, next one, I'm gonna do the tone curve adjustment. I will lift up a little bit of highlight, so that'll increase the contrast. You don't have to always use S-curve. For example here, if I use S-curve, that looks strange. The shadow is too much. So I wouldn't touch shadow here, just boost up a little highlight. For the other, I don't need to change. So keep in mind, so you don't have to touch all the tools on the right side. So editing a photo is more to use a tool to achieve your final result. If you're already happy with the sum of the part of the image, you don't need to go through all the tools. Next one, let's do the color. For hue, if you want to move orange more to red, right, you can drag the bar to the left, right? But that would be too much. Look at the fence. I don't like that, so I'm not gonna make any change. And same thing, yellow can move a little bit to orange, but I like to leave a little bit yellow, so yellow will have a contrast with orange and red. Same thing, green, right? If you drag the bar to the left, the green will become more close to yellow. But here I will leave as is because I want to respect the original scene that I saw. There's still lots of green leaves, and plus if you want the red orange to pop up, you need a comparison. I'll use green as the base so they can pop up. Saturation, since this is a fall photo, I will add a little bit saturation to orange and yellow. Red maybe just a little bit, not too much. The rest of the color look good to me. I don't have to change. So for the color grading, right, it really depends on the photo. I usually would add a little bit cold tone, like a bluish, to the shadows, and add a little bit yellow orange to the highlight. So that way it will have the contrast. Mid-tone is depends. For this photo, I think it's okay. I don't need to change mid-tone. Look good to me already. Sharpening here, usually I drag radius to the left, sharpening 40 or 50. I wouldn't go too crazy usually. I do between 40 to 60. Here I'll use 50-ish. And details. Alright, so since my ISO is 200, right, I can add more details, but not too much. So you can click on this eye, close eyes, that's before the change, and then after. You can see the sharpness and details boost up a little bit. So here, don't go too crazy with the sharpening tool, right? If the photo looks too sharp, that may lose the natural fading. For denoise in this photo, I don't have noise. I showed very low ISO, so no need to do denoise. This by default, this is the lens corrections. Here, usually I use auto to see if the tool gonna correct some of the leveling issue. As you can see, it only move a little bit, it's even hard to notice, so it doesn't matter. I'll leave the auto there. Now, let's add some veneer here. To add veneer, usually I go this way. This is not the final result. I go all the way to the left so I can see the shape of the veneer I'm giving. Usually for midpoint, I go more to the left. The roundness, I go to the right. And the feather, it really depends. So usually I go pretty close to 100 because I don't want the edge is too noticeable. Highlight is tough too. You wanna, in this case, if I move highlight, as you can see, the sky will show up a lot, right? Which I don't want, because this is the full photo. I want people focus on the woodline instead of the sky. So that's how the veneer look like. I mean, the overall the veneer shape. When I do it, I'll go back to 0 and then drag it slowly to the left. I think that's it. So -21, that's good enough. It shows leading people's attention to the middle, to the end of the fence. So that's good enough. And that's pretty much it. The biggest trick is this one at the bottom. You need to change the hue to the left to boost up the red, orange, and yellow color. So that will give the biggest change. So let's take a look before and after. This is the before on the left side, right side is after our editing. So as you can see, there's a lot of change in the color. This is it. So I hope this can be inspiring for you when you added your autumn photos. This is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're gonna go out and shoot some fall photo, practice the composition and the editing tip I gave you. Don't wait until the snow comes down and then you won't see this color anymore. Until next time, bye for now.